You're listening to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050
WLIP.
All right, Kim, so you had some responses on our Facebook page. What'd they say?
Yeah, actually, we got a question in from Lori. She says, sounding great, guys. I always thought that the merchant that chooses to hang the no firearm sign can ask you to leave if they discover you're carrying. Then, if you do not leave, they can have you charged with trespassing, but nothing more serious. Your thoughts? Yeah, that's exactly true, Lori. You get most people, a lot of concealed carry people out there carry by the CANT theory, C-A-N-T, carry always, never tell, which isn't a good idea because it puts a lot of law-abiding citizens in a precarious situation then. So we want to definitely follow the laws. So if you do get, in a situation where you're in a store and, they ask you to leave, it's a simple trespassing charge if you choose not to leave, or a mere infraction such as a traffic citation. But they have to prove that you knowingly carried after you've seen the sign. And, your statement is, well, I didn't see the sign. And then you leave. If they ask you to leave, you must leave. If you refuse to leave, then you are breaking the law and can be charged. You used to be able to be charged with disorderly conduct for carrying in Wisconsin, but they put that in the law that you can't be charged with disorderly conduct. It would just be a simple trespass.
Right. I think it's a $20, $25 fine.
Yeah, it's minimal. It's a small citation.
Best thing to do is if someone tells you to leave, just quietly say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and leave.
I'm sorry. And oh, by the way, I won't be back because I won't support your store if you don't support my legal right to carry, because it is a constitutional right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, Lori, thanks for the question. And also, hey, Anthony.
Well, I got a response for Jen's BF. Actually, for my 1911, I'm a really good shot, and I'm sure you are too. And but I do carry 2 extra mags with me. It's not because I'm not a good shot or I need more rounds, but I always prepare for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, those are fighting words, but that was a Facebook post from Jen. If you're good with a 45, you really don't need more than 7 rounds. That came from her 1911 carrying BF.
Well, you should, actually, BF, you should come out and come shooting with us sometime. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we would. We actually would.
All right. So let's talk about House Bill.
Yeah, what the funk?
Yeah, let's talk about House Bill 4715. Now, House Bill 4715 is the Firearms Registration Act for the state of Illinois. All right, right now it's in the Rules Committee, and it was introduced by Representative Kelly Cassidy, who's from District 14, who is, we did find out that that is the Chicago area, Rogers Park area.
It encompasses Loyola University. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I'm not saying everybody down there thinks that way or, the same way that she does, but, she is a representative of that district. So my assumption is I guess there's quite a few people think, in the same lines as she does.
Right, but what she's trying to propose is going to affect Illinois. So that includes, Lake County, where we're up here in Lake County. It won't affect Kenosha County, but Lake County, sure, it's going to affect you and I.
Yep, everybody. So in general, essentially what this bill talks about, is a Firearms Registration Act, all right? So actually, we got a question real quick. We got a caller calling in, so let's take that call.
All right, you want to take the call before we get into it? All right, before we get into the meat and potatoes. All right.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, around here, I'm known as Mr. Nobody.
All right. What's going on, Mr. Nobody?
I've been calling talk shows for 42 years now, and I was waiting for an opportunity to bring this up. Are you aware of the fact that there are counterfeit conservatives and political transvestites who are trying to get rid of our present Constitution?
All right, Mr. Nobody.
Article 5.
Hey, Mr. Nobody, we'll thanks for the call. All right, so let's get into House Bill 4715. Okay.
Yeah, let's stay on topic here.
because again, Kim, I hate getting all political and stuff, but it's hard not to get into politics sometimes when it comes to our handgun rights. Or not our handgun rights, our firearms rights.
Right.
Our right to bear arms. Now, some people would probably say that, well, the Second Amendment was written a long time ago by a bunch of old guys, and, back then they were talking about muskets. Really? Does it anywhere in the Constitution say, the right to bear a musket?
Nope.
No. They said arms. Why do you think they put in there particularly the word arms?
Well, because they change, they morph. It's all depends.
Technology, right?
Back then, the musket was probably considered an assault firearm. They all talk about assault rifles and assault guns.
Sure.
Really? Well, what is that? What is the definition? There is no distinctive definition.
Right, and I think our forefathers probably thought that we went from throwing rocks and using sticks all of a sudden to sharpened stones to it's progressed over the years. And so they use the term arms to encompass anything,
defense.
So and I think a lot of people that are probably for more gun control or some type of anti-gun, if they're advocating for anti-gun, they'd probably say, well, why the heck do you need an AR-15? And AR-15 is an assault rifle. Well, it's not an assault rifle, and it's so common now that literally you could. It's a common rifle, but they make it sound like it's some something special that only certain people have. There's a lot of women own them, because it's a lot easier for them to shoot. But now, so this law, House Bill 4715, we as Illinois residents, because I'm an Illinois resident, you're an Illinois resident, we're going to have to register every one of our firearms.
That's a lot of registrations. That
is.
Just between you and I.
So it's really like you almost have to get a title, so to speak, for your firearm. And you can't even go purchase or possess ammunition, for a particular caliber unless you can prove that you have a registration card for that particular gun or for a particular gun that takes that particular caliber.
Man, that's a heavy restriction.
And of course, you think they're going to do this for free?
No.
No, of course not. They're going to charge you.
Someone's going to have to register to do the paperwork.
And let's just say it's $50. Okay, I'm just using. They didn't say anything here. It says they may charge a fee. That may probably means they will, because again, that takes resources. You have to do a background check for every time you register a firearm. The Illinois State Police will have to do a background check on you. Now, when you and I were looking into getting fingerprinting, being fingerprint techs as a vendor, we know right off the bat the state police get $35.
Right.
So, out of that $50, $35 is going to go towards your background check. So that means more money out of our pockets. And I know some folks out there that have, a huge collection of firearms. Okay, so who needs to register? Okay, let's find out. Pretty much anybody that lives and breathes in Illinois, all right, you have to register your firearm. A person shall not purchase or possess ammunition within this state without having first obtained a registration certificate identifying a firearm that is suitable for use with that ammunition, or receipt demonstrating that the person has applied to register a suitable firearm under this act and that the application is pending. Now, there's a few folks that are exempt from this regulation if it went into law. Okay.
And who are those people?
That would be any law enforcement or corrections agency, as long as they're on duty. So those law enforcement officers that have their own personal guns, they'd still have to register those, even though they're a law enforcement officer.
Okay.
United States Marshal or member of the armed services, as long as they're using it on duty, they don't have to register those. Licensed manufacturers, importers, so people that actually, produce firearms or sell firearms, they don't need to register all the firearms, because ultimately what they're trying to do is get it to the, you have to register to the end user. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right, non-residents of the state participating in lawful hunting or sporting activities. So a Wisconsin residents that wants to come into Illinois to go hunting, they don't need to register their firearm. They can do so. But if they are now a person, let's see here, another one that says here, application to register a firearm. All right, it's for all newly purchased firearms. They have to obviously do a registration, so you got to get the certificate before you can purchase the firearm. So you're going to do this like at the gun store.
Oh, okay, right.
All right. For firearms that were lawfully owned or possessed on the effective date of this act, was brought into the state by a new resident, or was acquired by operation of law upon the death of a former owner. So in other words, let's say you pass away and you want to pass your guns down to your kids. All right. They have to register the firearms as well. All right, so keep on listening, guys. We're going to be right back. We got to take a short break. You're listening to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050
WLIP.
What the funk, Kim? You know, I can't believe Illinois wants to have us register our firearms. Isn't that crazy?
What the funk? It's crazy. That is really crazy, especially when you start looking at the overall, yearly thing.
Right. I mean, you have to re-register your certificate or renew your certificate for your firearms every year. Now, because we don't know how much it's going to cost, we're just, I was just saying earlier that it may be right around $50. And if it's around $50, and let's just for,
Chuckles and grins. What do they say that?
Yeah, something like that. I'm glad you said that because I was going to say the other word. But let's say there's 50,000, guns.
50,000? Okay,
yeah,
that's minimal.
We're just using small numbers. Okay. 50,000 times that by 50. How much money is that?
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's how much you're going to that's how much people, Illinois residents, are going to have to pay to register their firearms. So take however many firearms you have out there right now and times it roughly about 50. I'm guessing that's probably a nice round number. Okay? Because because you're going to have to go through a background check. And I know how much it costs to do a background check. That's, on top of what you're going to have to pay for someone to do that background check. And I'm sure they're going to have to be an ISP-approved vendor and all that good stuff. So you're going to be looking at least $55 on top of the registration fee.
That's insane. That's not even common sense.
I mean, it could be potentially, almost $100 a gun. Really, when you look at overall
well,
cost.
Wouldn't it just be like a one-time background check and then you pay a fee for every gun?
You would think.
That's what I'm thinking.
It doesn't say that.
But we're still
It doesn't say
talking
that.
millions and millions yearly that they're going to get on this.
Right.
Okay, it's got nothing to do with safety.
It has absolutely nothing to do with safety. But just so that, if you're if you're listening to us right now, you're just tuned in to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050 WLIP, and what we're talking about is the Illinois House Bill 4715. And on your application, obviously, you're going to have to put your full name, your home address and telephone number, your occupation, and your business address, and the number of your business or where you work.
Now, that's a total registration of the firearm owner.
The applicant's gender, race, height, weight, date of birth, place of birth, country of citizenship, social security number, and if the applicant is not a United States citizen, your alien or admission number.
Well, isn't this all on the FOID card as well? Don't they?
Yeah, and it's on your concealed carry license application.
Okay.
All right. So it's a triplicate of what we already been doing, really. A copy of the applicant's current driver's license, information concerning any denial or revocation of a license permit. So if you've ever been denied a permit, concealed carry permit, or like your FOID card, you're gonna have to write that. You're gonna have to write this down in this application. Okay. The make, model, manufacturer's name, caliber, and the gauge and serial number. The date of the applicants acquired each firearm. So you got to remember when you acquire this firearm. Do you remember when you acquired all your firearms?
Well, I've got receipts, but
yeah, you got receipts.
I'm pretty.
And
good
I know
at
we
keeping,
take pictures of all of our firearms. And,
I do.
And put our serial numbers on the back of them on our pictures. But I'm guessing most people out there do not do that. They're not going to remember when they purchase a particular firearm. Moving on here, the name, address, and phone number of the person from whom each firearm was obtained. Well, I don't know. Let's see here. The name of and the description of any instance in which any court, board, commission, or other lawful authority has done either of the following, including dates of commitment and release. Now, this is for if you've ever been committed, involuntarily, to a to a mental institution, So, but here's the interesting part of this. Okay, you have to sign an authorization and release to obtain information relevant to the person's eligibility to register a firearm under this act from any source that waives any rights to confidentiality and requests the disclosure of the information to the department for the sole purpose of determining the person's eligibility to register a firearm under this act. So that means you have to waive your rights you're giving all your rights to the state police for them to do your background check, so they can check anything.
Well, don't they do that for our Illinois concealed carry?
Not everything.
No. Well, what happened to the 10th Amendment, which limits the power of the states to pass laws on anything in the Constitution?
Yeah.
Where's our 10th Amendment right in that?
Nowhere. In the trash, I guess. Also, you have to include your right thumbprint. You need to have two identical color photographs.
You're killing me.
2 by 2. Any additional information the department deems necessary to process the application.
All right,
that could mean anything. That could mean that they call you up, Kim, and say, what type of medication are you taking? Why is
none
that
of your
any other
business.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But they can do that because you got to sign. You're signing the waiver saying that they can do that. How bad do you want to register your firearm? Now, what they're doing is really now think about this, guys. Who is this protecting? Nobody. People say, this is just simple gun registration. Well, it's not that simple.
No, it's not simple.
The right to bear arms is our right. Okay, it's our right. Now, does anybody else have the right to? Do we have the right to drive?
No.
No, it's a privilege, right?
Right.
So I can understand why I have to go take driver's ed and get license for a vehicle. You have to get insurance and all that good stuff, right? But this is our right to be able to defend ourselves. Every person has that inherent feeling inside them when they're in danger that it's that fight or flight, in them. Everybody, even the person that does not feel like guns are good, they still have that same feeling. Like if they're in danger, they're either going to have to fight or they're going to have to run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I, the one question I always ask people: what would you rather have, a telephone or that firearm? Yeah, you can call 911, but what are you going to do until police arrive? And there's nothing in the law that says police have to give up their lives for you.
No.
There's nothing. And people think, well, yeah, they do. That's why they're cops. No. They're just, they're going to a job just like you and I. They have a tough job. Now, their risks in their job are obviously higher than, tapping away on a computer every day. But they don't have any duty to give up their life for you. They don't. And that's a big misconception out there.
Well, it is. And police officers have a tough job, and they carry those firearms to protect themselves.
Right.
They're not going to jump between me and a bullet. Most likely, if something's happening and I'm calling the police, they're not going to get there.
They're not going to get there in time.
It's usually after the fact to fill out the report.
Right. It's just like when you had your home invasion.
Right.
And it took
35 minutes.
Blank County Police to get there.
Right.
Okay. And what were you going to do in that time? And here's the crazy thing. A few years back, there actually was a memo that was sent out by Illinois.
I remember that memo.
And ladies, the way to protect yourself when you're in the state of Illinois, prior to actually getting concealed carry, okay, so keep that in mind. They actually said that all the ladies should be carrying tongue depressors. You know why, Kim?
To throw up.
To make yourself throw up. If you're being raped by somebody or you're being assaulted by somebody, take out your handy dandy tongue depressor, stick it down your throat, make yourself throw up, because that's going to make the guy disgusted and not want to hurt you anymore.
Common sense. Well, where's the common sense?
Yeah. I would not want anybody that close to my wife or my daughter to be able to do that and, put them in that position to do that. You know what I mean?
Firearm's going to keep them at bay. But,
the thing is, just because you have a firearm also doesn't mean you're safe. But here's a reality. A firearm in trained hands levels that playing field, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
And
I feel safer.
Well, and people think, well, it's gonna, you're gonna see, people out there, being vigilantes.
Vigilantes.
There you. Thank you.
It's against the law, and I haven't seen that.
Right, and I haven't seen that either.
No,
and
it's the wild,
and
wild
you're
west.
are you gonna have people that do stupid things? Absolutely, they're gonna do stupid things.
Oh yeah.
But we don't want, that's why we, encourage people to get that training, and be careful of who you get your training from. Do your research. Are they gonna be there when you are, have to defend yourself in a court of law? Are they going to be sitting there beside you to say, yes, that person did everything, this is what we taught them, because we will. Armed citizen training, we're there to back up our students.
Yes, we are.
Because we believe in our training,
Mm-hmm.
And we do everything to industry standards. So, do your research, guys, because not everybody, they may be qualified as an instructor, but what gives them that qualification?
Right.
What's
ask
their
for those
experience?
credentials.
Yeah, even with that, ask them, how long you been doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just got it, last week.
So what about that House bill? What are we going to do about that? What's our choices?
Well, and here's the other thing. Again, renewal of the registration certificate has to be done every 12 months.
Yearly?
Every year. So if you have like 100 guns, you have to re-register your guns every year. So according to the bill. Now, a lot of things can be amended, of course, but I just hope, the people in the House would not vote for this. So what you need to do, okay, don't think that the guy next to you or the person next to you is gonna call and take care of business. You need to get involved, all right? So you need to contact your state representative and tell them no against House Bill 4715 for firearms registration, all right? You need to contact them. Look them up, all right? Go to the Illinois.gov website. Look up your representative. If you can't find them, give us a call, and I'll give you a. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put a link on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll put it on Facebook.
All right, and you can just click on that, and you can look up who your representative is, and give them a call. Okay, call them, email them. Okay, we need to overwhelm these folks saying this is not right, because it's not right. All right, this is not right. So we're gonna have to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're gonna continue talking about House Bill 4715. And you're listening to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050
WLIP.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050
WLIP.
All right, so this past hour we've been talking about House Bill 4715, firearms registration, and how crazy it is. All right, and we need to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this? You think this is right? I mean, do you not mind registering your firearms? I mean, they're going to sell it as, hey, it's for safety. We need to find out who has all these guns, and it just, we're not going to do anything with it, but we need to know who has guns. So, what do you guys think? Give us a call at 262-694-1050. So let's talk about the violation. So if you violate House Bill 4715, let's find out what the fines are.
I mean, that's my biggest concern, because most of our demographics are older gentlemen. They just are. I mean, we love seeing more and more women coming through our classes, but most of these guys have their wives do their paperwork, or they're just hanging out at home, going hunting. They're retired, and I'm concerned about them not doing it on a yearly basis.
I'm concerned actually for anybody out there, because there are times I forget. Oh crap! I just forgot to pay my bill.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all forgetful at times, right?
Yep.
So let's find out what that sentence would be, which is Section 70 in House Bill 4715. The following violation shall be a petty offense with a fine not to exceed $5,000.
What?
So $5,000. So you got that in your back pocket, right?
No.
Okay. So a new resident who brings a firearm into the state and who fails to lawfully dispose of or apply to register the firearm within 90 days of entering the state. So all those military families, because, we're close to Great Lakes, all those people that live, that are coming in, military families, or anybody that moves to the state of Illinois, I don't know why, but they would, if they didn't register or dispose of their firearms within 90 days, they're going to get charged with a petty offense and pay potentially a fee of $5,000.
Well, how would they even know that? Is that something the realtor would tell them?
Well, who's ultimately responsible?
The firearm owner.
Yeah, the citizen, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so a person who acquires a firearm by operation of law upon the death of the former owner. So, again, if I pass away and I leave my guns to my wife and daughter, or to you, Kim, and if you don't register those or dispose of those within 90 days, guess what? Now you're a criminal. Okay, you're going to be charged with a petty offense, and you may have to pay. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if they're going. You have to pay, $5,000 for each firearm that you didn't register or dispose of, or if it's just going to be one just lumped together. Knowing Illinois, it could be. I just think of the worst sometimes.
Well, and I'm speaking from experience here. A family member of mine had, we lost our brother-in-law, And my sister went through trauma for months and months and months. And unfortunately, through that time, several things lapsed because it wasn't on the forefront of her mind. And financially, that became detrimental. And now you're talking, you pass away and you leave your guns to your wife and your child, and registration of your firearms is not the first thing on her mind.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she's dealing with a loss and a fine, and she's a criminal as well.
Well, I'm
Okay.
guessing.
Come on, Illinois.
Again, I'm just guessing here, and when you assume, right?
Yeah, you know what
Okay.
they say about that.
So, if I was, so I'm just going to assume that the 90 days would start from the time that, from the time of the death of the person that owned the firearms, but from the time that, my will was executed and the person was notified. The 90 days would start. But even then, is that really going to be the first thing that's going to be on everyone's mind?
No.
I'm guessing my wife's going to still be in turmoil, because she's just, we've been together for a long time, and now, her partner's gone, So, let's see, who else? A person who owns or possesses a firearm in the state on the effective date of this act and fails to lawfully dispose of, I love that word, dispose of.
Yeah.
Like
we're gonna melt it.
No, we're just gonna throw it in the trash.
Right.
Dispose of or apply to register the firearm within 120 days of the effective date of this act. So that'd be like you and I, people that own firearms already. We would have 120 days from the time this bill would be signed. If it did get signed into law, we would have 120 days to register our firearms. Now, Illinois is having, they're just starting to process concealed carry permits. On top of that, now they're going to have to do these registration certificates.
Well, yeah.
Do you think they're going to have the manpower?
No.
Do you think people, again, how long is a FOID card supposed to take for them to process?
3 months.
3 months, 90 days. And how long has it been taking them?
6 months.
6 months. So they're breaking their own laws.
Right.
But who holds them accountable?
Nobody.
But again, that person that owns those firearms that's in the process and they don't have their FOID card, could the prosecutor legally say, well, that person doesn't have a FOID card?
Yeah. They can
do whatever they want, right?
They want.
And ultimately, you may be in the right, but you're gonna have to prove that you're right.
Yeah.
And that's gonna cost money.
Well,
again,
just like John said in the beginning, the lost and missing weapons of the FBI. I mean, they don't abide by it. They're above the law. And, these House Bill 4715 ultimately is just going to bind the hands of law-abiding citizens and cost us more money. It's all about money. And it's getting quite frustrating. They keep infringing on our right to bear arms. So they're making it harder and harder and harder for the law-abiding citizen to own a firearm.
Now,
that's their ultimate, quest.
Well, think about this, okay? Let's say, for somebody that lives in, like, say, Lake Forest or Lake Bluff, this is probably not a big deal. Even if they own a lot of firearms, because they probably got, pretty good, a lot of money. Right?
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Chances are they probably do.
Okay. more than me.
But think about who this is going to is going to put an undue burden on. Those people that that don't have a lot of money, that are living paycheck to paycheck, or they're receiving unemployment because they just lost their job. Now they got to go register their firearms, and let's say they had 2 or 3 firearms.
All right. Well, that's the point, right? That I just made is they're not going to be able to. And so what's ultimately going to happen to that person living check to check that can't pay to register their firearms? What are they going to do?
I don't know.
They're going to dispose of their firearms.
I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to contact their representative.
That's right.
All right. You need to contact your representative. And if you're listening and you're in Wisconsin and you have friends that live in Illinois, you need to contact them. Have them go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/ACT gun training, and there's the link. Okay. Have them read the bill. Send that out. Send that and share it with everybody. They need to get involved. All right. They need to get involved.
Well, they're ultimately trying to remove all guns from owners. I mean, that's...
Well, they're making it cost prohibitive.
That's what exactly.
Just like they did with Illinois concealed carry. Really.
Right. $150 and $300 for non-resident.
So, all right, let's see. All right, now a person who owns or possesses a firearm after his or her registration certificate for that firearm has been revoked is guilty of a Class 4 felony.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Because you own your firearm.
Well, because you have a firearm and you didn't, you try to register, but even it could be an administrative error. Let's say you have a FOID card and you have a concealed carry permit, but for some reason your registration card came back denied. Why would it? But let's say it does, because hey, people make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you could be charged with a Class 4 felony because you own a firearm that it's not registered. Interesting. Now, an applicant who's registering a firearm who knowingly gives false answer to any question on the application, or who knowingly submits a false evidence in connection with the application is guilty of a Class 2 felony. Wow, that's jail time.
Yeah, that's jail time.
I mean, it's not just fines, but that's jail time.
And that will follow you forever. You'll always have to answer a question that you have.
You're not going to be able to get a gun.
Right.
You're not going to be able to possess a firearm.
Well, they'll take
point.
them. Yeah.
They're going to confiscate it.
Mm-hmm. This is ultimately what it is. It's confiscation.
Well,
they're going to confiscate your guns because if you can't afford to pay the fine, or you can't afford the registration,
right,
you're going to have to dispose of your firearms.
Now, why do you think, what are they going to do with this information? And people say that. And, I've heard the left say, well, you really think the government's is going to come out and come after your guns?
Looks like they're doing it.
You know what? I mean, do I think, Illinois, state of Illinois is going to come to my house and take my guns? No, I don't think they will. But is that a possibility? Yeah, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And people say, well, that's not going to happen. The government's not going to come in and take your guns. You want to bet? It happened in New Orleans.
Yeah,
during Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it on TV. No residents will have firearms. Well, people are looting. People are, coming into other people's homes and taking their stuff, and they can't protect themselves? Where were the police? Probably trying to go protect their own families.
Right.
So, who are they protecting? Does that make any sense to you?
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. It's taking my breath away at the frustration level of Illinois legislation. And I don't understand it. Well, and again, you really don't have a say if you're not out there voting. And
right.
You've got to know who you're voting for.
You can't complain.
You can't.
You can't complain and not do anything about it.
But they will.
All right?
People do.
If you're listening and you're living in Illinois right now, and you're listening in on AM 1050 or on WLIP.com, contact your representatives in your district and tell them no. Not just no, hell no to House Bill 4715. All right? Contact Representative Kelly Cassidy's office and be nice. I mean, be respectful, okay? And tell her no. I'm going to contact her office, and I would like to give her the opportunity to come to our show, Kim, and explain, I need that explanation because I'm a pretty simple guy, okay? I need her to explain to me how this is going to make us safer. Or what's the purpose of this bill? Because if you're registering, if I'm having to register my firearm, what are you going to do with that information? Mm-hmm. Because nowadays, information is power.
Well, actually, there are some gun stores out there that are actually registering your FOID card number when you purchase a gun. Other companies, just look at your FOID card, okay, you got it, and they move on.
What do you mean registering your FOID card number?
They're putting it in the computer. They're putting in, to buy ammunition. Yeah, they're writing down your FOID card number and putting it in the computer as opposed to just confirming you have one. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
So, the FOID card registers us as firearm owners. That, I think, is beyond ridiculous right there, that we need a piece of paper to exercise our Second Amendment right. We don't need that for freedom of speech. Nobody can search my house unless they have a search warrant. They can't do those things, but yet they can force us to have a piece of paper that says we can keep and bear arms.
I can see that, if this ever goes into law, I would see a lot of court cases, being filed, a lot of complaints being filed. So, please contact your state representatives. Let them know that you are against House Bill 4715. It shouldn't even be going on the House floor. All right. Hopefully they just drop it. All right. But you just never know with these guys. You gotta stay on top of them. All right. Remember, we don't work for them. They work for us. All right. So get involved. Demand. What is right. This is not right. This is not one of those issues where it's right. So you're listening to Armed Citizen Radio on AM 1050
with Anthony and Kim.
And we'll be right back. We're going to be taking a short break, and then we'll be talking about some of our upcoming classes that are coming up.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for... We gotta cut you down, sooner or later gotta cut you down.
You're listening to Armed Citizen Radio with Anthony
and Kim
on AM 1050
WLIP.
All right, so this past hour we've been talking about House Bill 4715 and how people are going to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the ways that students and people can get involved also is by getting their concealed carry permits. Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Exercise your right to carry.
That's right. If you don't exercise your rights, guess what? You're going to lose it. Or they're going to just force you to register it. All right. So, Kim, what do we got coming up? I know we got actually a pretty busy week coming up this week.
Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, we said earlier we have a class coming up this Thursday, February 13th at the Kenosha-Gander Mountain on Highway 50. That is going to be our Wisconsin concealed carry and Utah non-resident concealed carry. Both permits are included in that class from 5 to 9 p.m. And you can register at actguntraining.com or give us a call at 888-240-3805. And then Friday is Valentine's Day. Don't forget your honey. Make sure you do something wonderful for Valentine's Day. Here's your preempt. Get it done. Get her done. And then on Saturday and Sunday, that'd be a great Valentine's Day gift. Bring them to a concealed carry class. On Saturday and Sunday is our Illinois concealed carry class. We have Illinois requires 16 hours of mandated training. So if you have no credentials that you can use towards the 16 hours, we have our 16 or our 12-hour class on Saturday, and then that follows up on Sunday with the 8-hour class. So you'll have a whole weekend of class for your 16 or 12-hour training, or if you only need the 8 hours, that's going to be on Sunday. And on that's going to be at our Gurnee location on Saturday, 4343 Old Grand Avenue in Gurnee, starting at 8 a.m. And then on Sunday, that's at our Trevor location, and that's at Promised Land.
Right.
That's our gun range, and that is from 7 to 3.
It's right
Actually,
off
we
Highway
could probably
C.
start pushing that time back because of the sun now. We used to have to fight the sun.
Right.
But now we can maybe start giving us a little bit more sleep eye, shut eye. But yes.
I'm a morning person,
Oh,
so
man.
I'm all right.
But yes, so Sunday is our 8-hour class for our Illinois concealed carry, and then right after that, Anthony, you and I will be heading right back here to the studio.
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
Comes up fast.
It does. So, Kim, who would need only an 8-hour class versus the 16-hour class?
Well, if you're prior military or currently in the military, you have 8 hours right there. If you've taken an NRA basic pistol course, you get 8 hours, or personal protection in the home or outside the home, those NRA courses. You get 8 hours. Or if you have a Utah concealed carry permit or a Florida concealed carry permit or your hunter safety certificate, those are all good towards 4 hours of training.
Okay. Now, they're going to have to show when they come to our class, they're going to have to show proof that they've had this training.
Yes, they
right?
have to have it with them, and we have to verify it, visually verify that they have it prior to allowing that credential training. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, very good. So if you're interested in attending one of our classes this weekend, also I have an actual special offer for those, for those folks that need a class. And that's only for people that are signing up for our Illinois class and signing up for our Wisconsin class on Thursday at Kenosha-Gander Mountain. Okay, so if you registered or are registering, we're going to give you a free membership for our gold membership. Now, our gold membership is normally $20, and it saves you 20% off any of our training courses for the year. Okay, so this is just kind of a way of saying thank you for being, one of our students and listening to us. And also, it's a great way to save you money. All right, because you get to save 20%, but you got to attend the class first, and then we'll give you the certificate or the card, the gold membership card.
Are they going to be pink
No, they're gonna be white.
Oh,
You know, they're gonna be white.
Valentine's Day special. Come on, work with me here.
Well, hey, we're going to be saving them 20% off all of our training courses.
That's great. That adds up to a lot of savings over the year. Sure it does.
And then also, if you can't make it, this weekend, our next class for Kenosha is going to be when March 13th.
March 13th.
March 13th. Our next Illinois concealed carry training courses are going to be in March 1st and 2nd, and March 15th and 16th. So you can find all this information on our website at actguntraining.com. That's actguntraining.com. Or give us a call. Give us a call tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, Anthony, I want to sign up for Wisconsin concealed carry class at Gander Mountain. And I'll be glad to assist you. Or, like I said, you can sign up at our secure website. But if you're going to call me, you can call me at 888-240-3805. Again, that's 888-340-2805. Oh, I'm sorry,
240-3805.
So you have all these numbers. But we would love to have you guys in class because it's a lot of fun. And I think if you talk to any of our students, they will tell you it's the 4 hours. If you're coming to the Utah-Wisconsin class, the 4 hours goes by so quickly. And if you attend any of our other Illinois concealed carry training classes, if you attend the 16-hour, the 12, or the 8, the time flies by because Kim and I we work really hard to keep you guys entertained. We want you to learn, but also have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's important to us. We want you to enjoy what you're doing.
All right. Well, just to kind of sum up with our, what the funk, that House Bill 4715, we're definitely going to try and get Kelly Cassidy to call in or at least be part of our show because we really want some, to understand where she's coming from on this. So we're going to keep working on that to see if we can get her from District 14 to come on our show. But what's coming up for next week's show?
Well, next week I think we're going to be having Pete and Chris from First Class.
Oh, really? Are they going to be here?
I think I'm gonna talk them into it. So I got to get them prepped.
Oh, okay.
All right, I got to get them prepped. So I got to make sure that.
Shh, nobody tell them.
And then we're going to talk about their shop, First Class Firearms, and talk about some gun deals that they may be having. So yeah, and what's the new firearms that are coming out for 2014. Actually, I have one on my mind that I've been kind of looking at. It's the new Sig Sauer 227, but it's the SAS Gen 2 version, and that's not supposed to come out till April. And so that tells me really if it's supposed to come out in April, that probably means that I won't get it until the summertime. Because there's going to be a high demand for it.
That's probably when we'll get our holsters for our 938s.
Oh man, I hope. I've been seriously watching looking at the calendar and just kind of Xing off the days, waiting for and as soon as that 12th week arrives, if it's not in my hands, I'm going to be calling those guys. So we're going to have some really good shows, and I think also we're going to be coming up probably here in the next couple of weeks is also. We'll have a representative from the USCCA talking about that self-defense insurance.
Yep.
Because I know that's a big question on a lot of people's minds because we talk about it in class.
Yeah, we do. We offer all the information on insurance. And, we met Michael Martin. We met Tim Schmidt. We met Michael Hughes. We met a lot of people at that Chicagoland gun show. So we'd like to have some of them on our show as well.
Yep.
And next week for the... is it legal? I'd like to talk a little bit about the Illinois Armed Violence Act. So we're going to be talking about that's under the criminal offenses that we do talk about in class. And this is just an add-on because if anything happens, just a simple felony is if your gun registration, if all of a sudden you're convicted of a class 4 felony, now, that's going to affect your carry and it's going to affect anything you do with your firearm. So we'll get into a little bit about that next week.
All right, great. Kim, can you just remind all our Wisconsin folks, now if they have their concealed carry license right now, can they transport armed into Illinois?
Yes, they can.
So how can they do that?
Well, if you carry your own state's permit, you're a Wisconsin resident with a Wisconsin concealed carry permit, you can be locked and loaded traveling through the state of Illinois. As long as you're traveling through, it's called the Peaceable Journey Act. But once you stop, because when you're traveling, you fall under federal law, and you have your own concealed carry permit for your state. But once you stop, you fall under state law. And Illinois does not allow you to carry a concealed firearm as a Wisconsin resident. So once you stop your vehicle to get out to eat lunch, gas up, it has to be unloaded and encased before you exit the vehicle. So, but that's the Peaceable Journey Act. So right now, our Wisconsin residents are the only ones that can carry driving through our state. Well, Indiana, other states,
Right.
but ones that are local to us.
Okay. Did you notice, I just checked my application status. It was approved for like 3 days.
Right.
And then it got back to under review. So I don't know if they figured out, hey, this guy, he's a character. He can't, we shouldn't really, we need to look deeper into this guy because
they saw your picture.
Probably. He's like, wait, Anthony Lambert? There's no way this guy's Anthony Lambert. Well, anyways, so it's under review again. And then I received 2 emails. Go figure. Congratulations, you're going to get your permit in 30 days. Oh, and then the second email, like literally 2 minutes after, oh, sorry, the email that we just received was a test.
Yeah, I got the same one saying it's going to be mailed out. Okay, got my hopes up.
All right, so we're going to be back next week at 6 to 8 on AM 1050 WLIP. So stay tuned and listen in and follow us on our Facebook page. Come to our class, and if you have any questions, give us a call, 888-240-3805, or you can find our information on our website at ACT Gun Training. Have a great evening, guys.
Good night.